All right, Black Panther is finally here. The long awaited, highly anticipated entry into the MCU, featuring the first black protagonist. Well, actually, the second, if you really want to be specific, because Blade was the first one, but I guess Blade wasn't really part of the MCU, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I guess, for all intents and purposes, Black Panther is the first. Either way, it's here, finally, and we're glad it is. Now, the film is directed by Ryan Coogler, who you may know, also directed Fruitvale Station and also Creed, which were two great films. So, of course, he has a lot on his shoulders. First of all, this being the first black-led film in the MCU, so there's a lot of pressure on the kid, and also with it being in the racial climate here in the United States, and with everything that's going on, a lot of folks are kind of targeting this film for a lot of different reasons, some good, some bad, and we'll get into that a little bit. But really, this is more of a review in regards to the film, and I do have some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film yet, you might want to check it out first, and then come back and hit me up, and see what my thoughts are. But so I'll just jump into the review first of all, and talk about some other things as I move along. Well, actually, Black Panther was first announced or first seen in Civil War. He had a featured role in Civil War, and we got some of his backstory, and it's a good segue from Civil War into his own film, Black Panther. And if you remember in Civil War, we get to meet Prince T'Challa. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, of Wakanda. I was going to say Rwanda, but actually Wakanda, which is a fictional African nation. His father is murdered in the bombing at the United Nations, and everyone blamed the Winter Soldier for that. But it turns out it was the German guy, Zemo, Baron Zemo, from Slovakia, whatever place it was that everybody got killed in Infinity War, not Infinity War, and the other Ultron, Sokovia, Sokovia. Well, anyways, that was our introduction to Black Panther, and he really stood out in Civil War as one of the protagonists in the film. So we get to learn a little bit about him. So it's a good segue, like I said, into his own film. So the film picks up with him back in Wakanda, and him ascending to the throne as king of Wakanda. As we know, his father, T'Chaka, was killed in Civil War. So they go through the ceremony, and he ascends to the throne. And the basis of the film, really, the plot is driven around him wanting to obviously avenge his father's death by bringing to justice the Claw, which was played by Andy Serkis, who also was featured a little bit in Ultron and also in Civil War as one of the perpetrators of the crime as far as the bombing. And also they introduced a new character, which is Eric Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan, as I guess the main antagonist of the film, as he has his own agenda as well in regards to T'Challa, and also in regards to Wakanda. So that is pretty much the basis of the story, and the bulk of the film is takes place in Wakanda, which is great, and the scenery and the imagination that went into creating Wakanda is stunning. Is really great to see how they imagined this fictional hidden city, and the realization of seeing that on film is really great. Now, Black Panther is really not that well known of a character in the Marvel comics universe. He's a minor character. I would think he's been around for a while, but he's not on the tip of everybody's tongue. So I think this film really serves a number of different purposes as far as introducing a wider audience to the legend of Wakanda and of T'Challa. And Civil War did a good job of kind of bridging that gap and making it, I think, an easier pill to swallow for the masses. And like I said, we'll get into more of that later on. But the story itself is pretty nondescript. The plot is not that intricate or anything like that. It pretty much gets to the point, and it kind of hits all the stages of a plot, all the hot points, and of a film, and it's pretty much by the numbers: Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So there's nothing really challenging about the plot itself, which in a way is good because it it doesn't require that much of the audience. So now you can kind of immerse yourself in the story as it's presented. Also immerse yourself in the characters and the scenery, and just kind of revel in what you're seeing versus trying to stay ahead or keep up and try to figure out what's going on because everything is pretty much laid out for you. And I'm glad they did it that way because so much attention needs to be paid to these characters as we build towards Infinity War. And if you've seen the trailers, they play a big role in Infinity War as well. So we are introduced to some other characters in the world of Wakanda, and the one that stands out the most for me, or there's a couple that stand out the most, that stand out a lot for me. The one that stands out the most is the women, believe it or not. First of all, is Nakia, who is a spy for Wakanda, and she's also the ex-girlfriend, as we find out, of Black Panther. And also, and you may have seen a little bit of her in Civil War. Her name is Okoye, who is his bodyguard, and she's a warrior as well. And she is, I think every pretty much every scene she's in, either Nakia or Okoye, they steal the scenes. They are excellent as a pair and as individuals, and their performances are top notch. I was really impressed with the way that these women presented themselves on screen as powerful women, smart women, beautiful women, and they really added to the story. And the action sequences involving these young ladies are awesome. Very well choreographed, very well directed, and the physicality and the beauty in which they performed their roles is breathtaking. So I was very pleased to see how the women were presented. They are presented with power and with passion, and they are not just window dressing. They're not damsels in distress. They actually help propel the story, which is wonderful because really, even though the film is Black Panther, he is, and for all intents and purposes, um, a featured character, but the plot doesn't really is not really dominated by his character. It's more of an ensemble piece, and that really adds to the diversity of the film, which I think is once again is awesome. And that brings us to Eric Killmonger, played by the wonderful Michael B. Jordan. As you well know, he's worked with Coogler before as the lead in Fruitvale Station, also as the lead in Creed. And if you've read and heard some other people talking about the film prior to, I guess, checking this out with me, everyone is really impressed with Michael B. Jordan's performance as Eric Killmonger, the villain or antagonist, and that he is, I guess, outside of Loki, the second best Marvel villain to date. And I can agree with that. I think he's the best, to be honest with you. Because Loki, I never really liked Loki, to be honest with you. So as far as the villains go in the MCU, I think he stacks up number one. He gives a very passionate performance. And the thing about when it comes to a villain is the thing that really makes a villain stand out is the purpose of the villain. You have to really buy into and believe, what he's doing and why he's doing it. And more importantly, you got to believe that he is passionate about what he's doing because he has a good reason behind doing what he's doing. And is very well introduced as far as what he's trying to do, why he's trying to do it, and why he needs to do it. And for all intents and purposes, he's right. He's right in a lot of ways. The way he goes about, I guess, getting his revenge or meeting his objective is kind of far fetched. And you would think if he truly wanted to make change, he and see the things that he wants in his objective to be reached, he would maybe choose a more diplomatic way of doing it versus the violent way of anarchy that he goes by it. But I can understand what he's doing and why he's doing it, and for the most part, I can agree with what he's doing, and that makes for a very compelling villain. And when you have an actor of Michael B. Jordan's talent, that just kind of takes it over the top, which was once again awesome. And there's another minor character who raises his head up in this film, and is really the only white character that has a major role, and that is the actor Martin Freeman, who plays Everett Ross. He's a CIA agent from Civil War, and he once again was a minor role in Civil War, but is more pronounced here. And he actually helped other than just being, I guess, the token white in the film, he actually does have a purpose, and he does serve that purpose well in the film. It does add a little balance to the film because obviously, in most films, all the characters are white, and you have a token black. Now it's kind of reversed. You got a predominantly black film with a token white character. So I get it, and I like the way they kind of switch that dichotomy around, and it made for a compelling view. The story itself, like I said, is pretty nondescript. It's by the numbers, but is well paced. It pushes its way through to the climax, pretty well. It does drag a little bit in the second act, but not anything that really detracts from the overall quality of the film, which is a good thing as well. And finally, there's also Andy Serkis, who plays Claw in the film, and he's a scene stealer as well, and he's a good, he plays well off of the Michael B. Jordan character as well, and the dynamic between those two and how it plays out from their introduction up until the second act is really well laid out, and I can appreciate that as well. So overall, the film itself, like I said, is getting some rave reviews, and I see why it's getting rave reviews, because the film is a very fun watch, an extremely fun watch. The action sequences are great. The only thing that really kind of detracted from me from the film is I think like the first maybe 10-15 minutes of the film was really dark. And I don't mean dark as in tone. I mean dark as in you can't see what's going on. And especially the first action sequence with Black Panther is done in the dark, and it's kind of hard to make out who's doing what and why. And like I said, it's a small beef that I have, but it's something that I think they could have fit. They could have fixed it in post production, just kind of lightening it up a little bit so we can kind of follow the action a little bit better. But once again, it's a very small gripe on my part. Other than that, the supporting characters are all great. There are great performances all around this film. Everybody really put a lot of effort into it. You can tell that everybody involved in this film, as far as the cast, are very committed to what they're doing. And there's a lot of weight on their shoulders as well, because now again to the political aspect of it, this is a black film. It's with a black director, black leads, and in today's racial climate, there's been some backlash. There's a faction out there that's of I think white supremacists or nationalists or whatever they want to call themselves, alt-right or whatever, who are trying to tank the film, trying to get folks not to go see the film. Kind of like what happened with Star Wars with The Last Jedi, trying to sabotage its Rotten Tomato scores and keep people away from the film. But it turns out it's had a reverse effect, because it really has galvanized everyone, and now folks want to see it even more, just to shut up the white nationalists who are trying to shut this film down. And as of this moment, the film has grossed over. It's tracking for over $200 million 4-day opening, which is one of the highest ever, and it also has the highest February opening of all time. So for the white supremacists and racists out there who tried to hurt this film, fuck you. So it's good to see that. It really motivated me to really want to go out and see the film even more, because usually when it comes to big films like this, sometimes I'll wait a few days or a week or so before I go see it, so the crowd kind of thins out a little bit. But no, I was really motivated and dedicated to seeing the film the opening weekend. And here where I live in the Metro Atlanta area, it was hard to find tickets. Everything was sold out, and the nearest theater to where I live is they have assigned seating. So I went online to buy my tickets through Fandango, and every showing was practically sold out, and the only available seats were like right up front, and I don't like sitting right up front because the big screen and my neck and having to look up. No, it's just not a pleasant experience sitting in the front row to watch a film nowadays. I like to sit a little bit further back, and there's like just no tickets available. So I had to really drive out of town, not far, about I guess maybe 30 minutes north of where I am, to Noonan, Georgia, to catch the show, and it was well worth the effort and well worth the trip. Magnificent performance by Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger, uh, Lupita Nyong'o, Academy Award winner Lupita Nyong'o as Nakia, and I even not even going to try to pronounce the girl who played Okoye. She was great as well. Forrest Whitaker, and I think a glorified cameo role is always strong. Angela Bassett. There ain't no way Angela Bassett is 60 years old. No way. That woman looks like she's 40. If a day over 40. Black don't crack. That lady looks great to be 60 years old, and I gotta see her birth certificate. Come on, Trump. Ask for her birth certificate. There's also a cameo by Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us. So, and there's a lot of recognizable black actors in the film. Daniel Kaluuya, Academy Award nominated Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out, has a feature role as well. So, like I said, there's a lot of pressure on Ryan Coogler too, because he's got the weight of a lot of expectations on his shoulder. Because if this film would have tanked, then it would have been not maybe not a death nail, but it would have been a nail in the coffin when it comes to black-led superheroes. But now, since it's such a it's a huge hit, this film is probably going to gross close to $1 billion, if not over $1 billion. It's really going to bode well for the future of black-led films. And as a film writer myself, who has written a screenplay with a black superhero protagonist, it looks good for me to kind of get my work out there and maybe get some more eyes on it. So it's a trickle down effect. A lot of people, a lot of careers are riding on this. A lot of work for black actors and artists and behind the scenes, behind the camera, and in front of the camera. A lot of opportunities are kind of riding on this. So there's a lot at stake here, and I know there's a lot of weight on Ryan's shoulders. So Ryan, job well done, man. Job well done. I really appreciate the work that you put in, and the actors as well. It's a great film, not without flaws, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna lavish the film if I don't think it's good, and just because everybody's saying that it's great, I'm gonna be an individual and give you my complete thoughts on it. There are some holes in the plot, but it's a superhero film, so those holes that I can kind of live with. And but it's the performances and the characterization and the character building, the development of the character, the pacing, the plot. Those are the things that work for me. And those are the things that make a film good. Is consistency. Is a very well made film, made with a lot of care and a lot of skill, and I really appreciate it as a fan and also someone who also is involved in the film industry. So once again, kudos to everyone involved: Ryan, Michael, Chadwick, Lupita, and everyone else. Good job. Job well done. Go see Black Panther. It is well worth it. It is a good film. Not a great film, but it is a good film. A worthy addition to the MCU. And I look forward to seeing more of the character in future installments as well. And one thing that did kind of bother me is the fact that, once again, spoiler alert, Killmonger is killed at the end of the film. Now, obviously we never see his body, and we don't see his body being cremated or anything like that, or buried or anything like that. So I guess that does leave a bit of an opening for him to maybe be resurrected and come back. But who knows? But as of, I guess, right now, my thoughts are that the character won't be coming back. But he's a very strong character, a very strong villain, and I would like to see more of him because he does kind of realize at the end that maybe there's a different way that he could have gone when it came to his plan to retake the throne of Wakanda, and maybe he can come back and maybe team up with the Black Panther, and they help fight and protect Wakanda together. Now there are two closing post-credit scenes as well, and the first one is okay, big deal, but the second one kind of rang a bell. We get to see the Winter Soldier again, because if you might remember, at the end of Civil War, T'Challa took him back to Wakanda to nurse him back to health. So we kind of see the outcome of that. So that was nice to see as well. So be sure you stick around for the end credits as well. And also, one thing I want to point out, I forgot to point out earlier, is the film kind of plays like, in a way, it has kind of like an espionage James Bond feel to it as well. There's a spy element to it as well, which is very well laid out as well. Because one of the characters, T'Challa's sister, it takes on like a Q role when it comes to, from the James Bond universe of the tech gadget person, the tech savvy person who creates all these different gadgets that he uses, and those gadgets kind of come in handy throughout the story. So that was a nice little touch as well they threw in. And I really was appreciative of that as well. So that's my review. What do you think? Black Panther. Good, great, indifferent. How do you feel about it? Once again, highly recommend it. Go see it. You will not be disappointed. It's a brisk film. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it's a quick 2 hours and 15 minutes, so you won't feel like you wasted your time. So what do you think? Hit me up below. Let me know what you think about it. If you don't like it, tell me why you don't like it. Don't just say I don't like it. Be specific. Let me know why you don't like it, and I'll definitely hit you back and have a discussion with you about it, and maybe try to come to some understanding, and maybe who knows, might open my eyes to some things I might have missed the first time around. So hit me up. Let me know what you think. Twitter at what Lonzo thinks. Email whatlonzothinks@gmail.com. Subscribe. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. I do appreciate it. I always want to know what you think because, as you well know, this is what Lonzo thinks. Bye.